Hawaii Five-0 brought crime, danger, and island mystery straight into living rooms with a style no other cop show could touch. Between that legendary theme song, the sharp suits, gorgeous ocean views, and nail-biting cases, this cast cemented their place in television history. But once the cameras stopped rolling, their real-life paths veered in completely different directions. Fame, private struggles, quiet departures, and losses fans still remember today. Let us take a look at what became of the cast of Hawaii Five-0, starting with James MacArthur, who played Danny Williams at age 30. He was young, steady, and always ready whenever McGarrett barked to book him. Danny became the loyal sidekick at the heart of Hawaii Five-0, offering a boyish, clean-cut contrast to Jack Lord's heavy-handed command style. He died in 2010 at age 72, with the exact cause left private, long before the islands made him a household name. He was a Disney adventure star in hits like Swiss Family Robinson. He also had elite acting pedigree as the son of theater legend Helen Hayes. Dano became one of those TVAV icons forever defined by a single catchphrase. McGarrett hogged the spotlight, but Danny gave the team its reliable heartbeat. He was the reliable second in command, chasing runners, taking orders, and making the whole Hawaii Five-0 squad feel like a real police unit. Cam Fong took on the role of Chin Ho at age 50, steady, experienced, and carrying genuine island authority. He brought a level of realism other crime shows just could not fake. He felt truly rooted in Honolulu. No mainland cop dropped onto a postcard beach. Cam Fong passed away in 2002 at 84 after battling lung cancer. Before his acting days, he actually served with the Honolulu Police Department, and that real-world background came through in the way he carried himself. He even survived the attack on Pearl Harbor, giving his life a depth far beyond Hollywood. His character helped anchor the series in local culture. Sun-soaked beaches and high-speed car chases gave the show its flash, but characters like Chin Ho gave it genuine credibility. He was quiet, incredibly professional, and totally believable. He was exactly the kind of presence that connected the team to the islands. Herman Wedemeyer stepped into the role of Duke at age 44, dependable, quiet, and projecting a strong local vibe that made the squad feel real. Duke brought a very steady law enforcement energy to the show. He did not need to hog the spotlight. He just looked like a cop who knew the streets, the locals, and the rhythm of island life. Herman Wedemeyer passed away in 1999 at age 74 following a heart attack. Long before television, he was a standout athlete playing college football at St. Mary's and later transitioning into local politics, giving him a legacy far wider than a single TV gig. Duke kept the show from looking like a cheap tourist brochure. McGarrett had that loud, commanding presence, but guys like gave the team an authentic local foundation. He made the actual casework feel tied to the community, rather than just set dressing against some pretty scenery. Harry Endo took on the role of Chi Fong at age 46. Meticulous and always reliable, when a case called for forensics instead of car chases, Chi brought the scientific side of the team to life. He acted as the brilliant technician who could transform stray fingerprints and tiny clues into major breakthroughs for the detectives. Harry Endo passed away in 2009 at 87 years old following a stroke. Before joining the show, he actually worked as a bank executive, making his sudden pivot to acting even more surprising. But to the fans, Chi Fong was his defining performance, offering the series a refreshing shift in momentum. While the episodes were packed with shootouts and intense interrogations, someone had to slow down the action and decode the evidence. She did exactly that with quiet focus, making the investigations feel highly detailed and realistic. Kono was brought to life by Zulu at age 31, large, imposing, and bursting with local charm. Kono brought raw physical power to the early Five-0 squad. He looked like a detective who could easily hold his own in a street brawl. Yet he still gave the team a warm, friendly presence. Zulu passed away in 2004 at 66 from diabetes complications. Off the screen, he was a popular Waikiki performer and radio host with a life deeply embedded in the local island arts scene. His character injected those early seasons with serious muscle and heart. He lacked McGarrett's clean-cut polish, and that is exactly why the audience loved him. Rather than a boss with sidekicks, he made them feel like a real team on the island beat. The governor was portrayed by Richard Denning at age 54, distinguished, authoritative, and the exact type of politician McGarrett had to answer to. The governor established a clear chain of command without ever chasing suspects through the streets. Still, his presence made the Five-0 unit feel powerful, protected, and tied to real state authority. Richard Denning passed away in 1990 at age 84 after cardiac arrest. Long before the islands became his TV legacy, he spent decades working in film, radio, and television, including Creature from the Black Lagoon and Mr. and Mrs. North. The governor helped sell that old school cop show vibe. McGarrett was intense, stubborn, and almost impossible to slow down. But the governor gave his cases major political weight. That dynamic made the investigations feel bigger than just one cop's mission. All played Ben at age 33, cool, confident, and naturally charismatic. He brought another strong local face to the 5-0 squad. He had the kind of natural presence that fit both the police work and the Hawaiian setting effortlessly. In 2021, Al Harrington passed away at 85 after a stroke. Off camera, he was a massive Hawaiian entertainer, and Cincha, later landing a role in the Hawaii 5-0 reboot. His entire career stayed deeply tied to the local culture. Ben gave the show way more than just another detective. He brought a warm, local flavor and easy confidence that kept the squad from feeling like mainland outsiders. On a show built on Hawaii's real streets and beaches, that kind of authenticity mattered. Glenn Cannon stepped into the role of John Manicote at age 36. Smart, sharp, and carrying the heavy weight of the prosecutor's office, Manicote brought the law to Hawaii 5-0. He wasn't there for wild car chases. He was there for the evidence and making sure McGarrett's arrest actually stuck. In 2013, he passed away at age 80 after an illness, but his life remained deeply tied to Hawaii through his decades of teaching university drama. That academic role gave his presence on the show a genuine local connection. Manicote made the 5-0 world feel complete. McGarrett could bust the criminals, but someone still had to handle things on the courtroom side. Characters like Manicote reminded viewers that justice was not just about the arrest. It was about the whole system. Danny Kamkona played Nick at age 32. Tough, smooth, and effortless, Nick fit right into the show's gritty world of island crime, backroom deals, and street-level tension. He possessed the kind of screen presence that made even a minor role feel like it had a massive backstory behind it. In 1996, a heart attack took his life at age 60. Beyond 5-0, global audiences recognized him from roles in The Karate Kid Part 2 and Robot Jocks. He constantly brought a strong Hawaiian identity to major Hollywood projects while adding massive local flavor to the series. Hawaii 5-0 worked best when the setting felt real, and actors like Kamikona made that happen. He gave the crime stories a gritty, grounded edge, making every case feel like it came from a real community, and not just some tourist postcard. Mo Keel played Detective Truck Kealoha at age 30. Big-hearted, solid, and radiating island warmth, Truck brought a much friendlier kind of strength to the 5-0 team. While he handled the police action easily, his relaxed Hawaiian vibe set him apart from those tough, mainland-style cops. Mo Keel passed away in 2002 at age 62 after a sudden heart attack. Away from the cameras, he was a beloved Hawaiian musician and local entertainer. His song Aloha became a huge part of his legacy, and his post-TV life remained deeply tied to Hawaiian culture. Truck gave the series another local heartbeat. McGarrett had the booming voice and iconic catchphrase, but characters like Truck connected the team directly to the community. He brought some much-needed warmth to a show dominated by gritty crime, pressure, and relentless pursuits. Douglas Mossman took on the role of Frank Kamana at age 36. Calm, capable, and totally believable as a seasoned cop, Kamana fleshed out the 5-0 team with a strong island presence without ever trying to overshadow McGarrett's commanding style. He made the squad feel broader and properly staffed. Douglas Mossman passed away in 2021 at 88, with no cause of death reported. Outside of acting, he worked in local entertainment and production, playing multiple roles throughout the original Hawaii 5-0 run. Kamana is a big part of the show's local texture. The series boasted its iconic theme music, fast cars, and intense McGarrett energy, but it needed familiar local faces to keep things believable. Mossman helped ensure these cop stories felt rooted in Hawaii, not just filmed there. Kuan Hailim portrayed Tasaki at the age of 47, sharp, watchful, and bringing that grounded island vibe. Tasaki fit right into the crime world of Hawaii 5-0. He was the kind of character who made a case feel genuinely local, more specific, and less like some generic mainland cop show filmed against pretty scenery. Kuan Hai Lim died of cancer in 2008 at 86. Long before and after the show, he worked constantly in Hawaiian theater, film and television, appearing in a bunch of different roles on Hawaii 5-0. he stayed active in the local arts scene, becoming one of those familiar faces who gave the show its authentic grit. Tasaki is a great reminder of why the original series still feels connected to the islands in a way modern crime dramas just cannot match. It was not just McGarrett, the iconic theme, or the wild car chases. It was actors like Lim who brought real local faces, voices, and pacing to the screen, turning Hawaii into a living community rather than some pretty postcard. Frank Okowa was played by Tommy Fujiwara when he was 42. Calm, sharp, and totally believable as a cop working the Honolulu beat, Okowa brought yet another layer of local flavor to the series. He had the sort of quiet screen presence that did not need to scream for attention. He simply grounded the whole episode in the real islands. Tommy Fujiwara passed away from an illness in 2016 at age 80. His acting career was tightly woven into local television, with roles on Hawaii Five-0, Magnum, and other classic island shows. He was one of those reliable character actors who gave these local shoots a recognizable face and a true sense of place. Okowa's character fit beautifully into that larger island vibe. In a show like this, every single witness, suspect, or local official helped build the world around the core detective squad. Fujiwara's natural performance made the story feel less like a cheap studio set and more like a real slice of Hawaiian life. Bu Van den Ecker took on the role of Chuck Price at 27, young, clean-cut, and fitting right into the show's rotating cast rhythm. Chuck brought some youthful energy into McGarrett's world of tough cases and island dangers. He nailed that old-school television formula where a single episode character drops in, adds a quick dose of mystery, and keeps the plot moving. Now 79, he has lived a much more private life than most of his 70s television peers. His acting credits remained pretty brief, and for anyone revisiting Hawaii Five-0 today, Chuck Price is easily the character he is remembered for most. That kind of brief screen legacy is pretty common for guest stars from that classic era. Chuck is a great reminder of how 60s and 70s cop shows were put together week by week. The main cast carried the series, but they constantly needed fresh faces for danger, mystery, or romance. Even a brief appearance helped feed the weekly mystery machine that kept Hawaii Five-0 running. Professor Hattori was brought to life by Seth Sakai at age 40. Serious, observant, and carrying that quiet authority that fit perfectly into Hawaii Five-0's world. Hattori gave the episode a distinct local flavor. He definitely was not there just to fill space. He added another authentic face to that local network of experts, suspects, and people McGarrett had to read. Seth Sakai died of heart failure in 2007 At 75, his career went way beyond one T guest spot, spanning decades in music stage and Hawaiian entertainment. He also popped up in things like Magnum P.I., The Hawaiians, and several other island projects, making him a key player in keeping Hawaiian talent highly visible on television. Hattori fits that side of Hawaii Five-0 that set it apart from mainland cop shows. The cases needed more than just squad rooms and shootouts. They required local people, local smarts, and faces that felt deeply connected to the place. Sakai helped deliver that authentic island vibe. James Kiloa Kimo was played by William Smith at 44. Tough, physical, and looking like he stepped straight out of a 70s action scene. Kimo brought a gritty edge to the Five-0 squad. He lacked McGarrett's polish, but that raw attitude made him incredibly useful dealing with violent street suspects on the rougher corners of Honolulu. William Smith passed away in 2021 at 88, with no cause of death publicly shared. Long before and after his Five-0 run, he was famous for playing bikers, soldiers, and rough guys in classic movies and series like Laredo, Rich Man, Poor Man, and Any Which Way You Can. He had the exact kind of face old school action television loved. Kimo gave the late era Five-0 team a heavy, muscular feel. The original squad had procedure, local smarts, and McGarrett's booming command. But guys like Kimo brought sheer physical force. He looked like the guy you sent when a polite conversation just was not going to cut it. Bill Edwards took on the role of Jonathan Quay at 53, crisp, formal, and deeply connected to the show's intelligence side. Quay brought that cold government shadow to McGarrett's cases. He was definitely not the guy chasing suspects down the street. He was the kind of presence who made every case feel massive, top secret, and politically dangerous. Bill Edwards passed away in 1999 at 81. Leaving no public cause. He worked in movies and V for decades, but Hawaii Five-0 fans will always remember him best as Jonathan Quay, the calculated government insider who stepped in the second regular police work hit a political nerve. Quay helped push the Five-0 universe far beyond local street crime. Suddenly, island cases were bleeding into espionage, national security, and force his way above a standard police file. He connected McGarrett's world directly to Washington, deep intelligence work, and the massive machinery behind the badge. Meanwhile, Josie overplayed Horton's girl at 29. Sharp, fleeting, and perfectly fitted to the guest lineup of the week, she brought some much-needed mystery and style to the scene. On this show, even tiny roles set the perfect mood. A smoky nightclub, a tense hotel room, some dark corner of the island Garrett had to check out. Josie passed away in 1992 at 50, with no cause of death ever released. Before landing those TV gigs, she moved to Oahu, joining the local scene with dancing and island television gigs. Her resume was short, but it stayed locked to island-made shows. Horton's Girl represents that classic grit and glamour feel of the original series. Not everybody needed a massive backstory. Some characters existed just to set the vibe, drop a clue, or add a splash of color. Roles like this kept each episode stylish and deeply rooted in vintage Hawaii. Kai Kadipe stepped into the legendary role of Wu Fat at 58, ice cold, calculating, and always playing 3 moves ahead. Wu Fat became McGarrett's ultimate rival. He never had to shout or act crazy to terrify you. His threat came from sheer patience, absolute control, and that icy smile that made every showdown feel deeply personal. Kai Kadipe passed away in 1991 at 75 due to heart failure. Away from Hawaii Five-0, he lived a fascinating life as an actor, writer, and student of Eastern philosophy, appearing in hit shows like Mission Impossible and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. before becoming forever tied to the role of Wu Fat. He gave the show its ultimate villain energy. Most cases wrapped up quickly, but he ensured McGarrett always had unfinished business. Whenever he popped back up, the stakes instantly grew far beyond some local police investigation. It was a pure battle of wits, pride, and classic TV espionage. Laurie Wilson was brought to life by Sharon Farrell at 40. She was sharp, stylish, and she stepped right into a squad that had long been run by men. Laurie brought a totally fresh energy to Hawaii Five-0. She carried the swagger of a detective who earned her spot. Even if the show's traditional format did not always leave her room to shine, Sharon Farrell passed away in 2023 at 82 from natural causes. Before heading to Hawaii, she built up her credits in movies and shows like It's Alive and The Reavers and The Man from U.N.C.L.E., establishing a diverse career that hopped effortlessly between heavy drama, crime, and genre fiction. Laurie Wilson gave the team a fresh perspective during the show's later years. McGarrett still held down the alpha male command, but Laurie gave the squad a much-needed modern edge. She represented a show trying to evolve, dropping a sharp female detective into a universe dominated by tough guys, fast cars, and cold stares. Meanwhile, Laura Sode Madison stepped into the role of Luana at just 15. Young, local, and woven right in the Hawaiian backdrop of McGarrett sets cases, Luana gave a deeply personal face to the unfolding mystery. The show always shined when it stepped away from badge-heavy officers to focus on the regular folks, caught in the crossfire of all that drama. Laura Sode Madison passed away in 2011 at 55, with no cause of death ever made public. While her filmography was short, she remains warmly remembered for her local Hawaiian performances. That makes Luana feel like a minor, yet incredibly authentic piece of the classic show. Luana kept the series tied to the islands, far beyond the police headquarters. The gorgeous beaches and skyline established the look, but characters like her gave it a pulse. Even a fleeting appearance reminded the audience that these cases impacted real local lives, not just suspects and cops. Jimmy Borges stepped into the show playing himself at 33, smooth, incredibly musical, and totally at home in the island's bustling nightlife scene. He injected some authentic Honolulu club culture right into the show. His scenes made the drama feel less like a Hollywood set and more like a real, breathing community. Jimmy Borges passed away in 2016 at age 80 after battling cancer. Outside of acting, he was best known as a beloved Hawaiian jazz singer, performing for decades and becoming a highly respected figure in Honolulu's music scene. His television work was just one part of a much bigger island legacy. Borges gave the series something very rare. Real local atmosphere you just could fake. Hawaii Five-0 had cop criminals and car chases, but local performers like him brought music, nightlife, and island style into the frame. That's the exact kind of detail that made the old show feel so authentic. Detective Steve McGarrett was played by Jack Lord at 47 years old. Sharp, intense, and impossible to picture without that signature hard stare, McGarrett became the face of Hawaii Five-0. He had that booming command voice, perfect hair, and the famous book Im. Dano catchphrase that turned him into an absolute television legend. Jack Lord passed away in 1998 at age 77. Before leading 5-0, he worked in film, television, and even played Felix Leiter in the Bond film Dr. No, but McGarrett became the role that defined his entire screen legacy. McGarrett gave the show its engine, the islands gave it pure beauty. The theme music gave it punch, but Jack Lord brought the authority. Every case felt a lot tighter the second he walked into the room. He didn't play Steve as casual or loose, he played him like justice had a strict schedule to keep. Meanwhile, Jenny was played by Peggy Ryan at age 45. Bright, quick, and carrying that classic show business timing of someone who performed since childhood. Jenny brought a different spark to the show. She wasn't a cop or crime boss, but she added that for me a guest star charm the series relied on so much. Peggy Ryan passed away in 2004 at 80 following a stroke. Long before Hawaii 5-0, she was a dancer and movie actress in classic Hollywood, starring in musical comedies alongside Donald O'Connor. Later, she became deeply connected to Hawaii, performing and teaching dance there. Jenny gives the show a neat taste of vintage entertainment passing through the islands. Hawaii 5-0 is definitely a crime drama, but it also became a massive meeting ground for actors, singers, dancers, and talented local artists. Peggy Ryan's appearance brings that classic vintage charm, a small role backed by a lifetime of talent. The original cast of Hawaii 5-0 might have left the islands behind, but their incredible legacy, style, and unforgettable acting still live on with classic television fans today. Which cast member's journey surprised you most? Tell us what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch our next then. And